Islam, Islam, Islam. Uh, Let's go a little dry here. I'm sorry. So, Islam, everyone. Islam, Islam. Our meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Can we all stand as we recite our Moorish American prayer? We're going to turn to the east as going within. We put up 5 fingers on the left, 2 on the right, with our heels touching one another, standing on our square. Repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam, Islam. We're going to start this thing off with a nice poem before we read our laws. Because I want to set the tone for what is going on today. As you see, the title says here now. And who is speaking when it says here now? So we're going to go over that, talk about that. But I wanted to bring this poem into this gathering today. It was inspired by someone I really love in the industry. Love her music, just love everything, her energy, everything about her. Like, and to even be able to be also a friend to one of her sisters. I always say Allah always tends to bring me into spaces with people. And a lot of times I could have liked these people or have noticed these folks or whatever, have enjoyed their music through the years or whatever. And somehow I end up either meeting them exactly, that person, or it's going to be somewhere in their family, whether it's a daughter, a son, a niece, a nephew, a sister, a brother. It's always something that brings that together. That's why I've been so gratefully blessed to be able to come in contact with the people I have through the years, through my career. So the song is called Black Girl, and it's by a sister named Tank. It's by a group called Tank and the Bangers, my favorite group. Real live, they play the instruments for real. She really sings. She really does that. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Yeah, I guess you could say I am. Yes, I am. I am. I'm a mother. I'm a temple mother. I'm a mother over this temple and many others. Islam, Islam. So she has a song out called Black Girl, and in this song she says, the black woman's always pulling up the community by her bra straps. So when I kept thinking of that, I was like, wow. So this is what prompted this poem. I call it the Asiatic woman. Braided strength with roots deep in the fertile soil. Black woman rise, a mighty toil. They pull their communities, thread by thread, a tapestry woven, golden headed, bra straps tugged, a symbol of might, lifting spirits, soaring high and bright. In every struggle, they stand their ground, a fortress of love, steadfast and sound. From kitchen tables to boardroom chairs, they shatter ceilings, conquer all fears. With wisdom, grace, and courage's fire, they ignite hope, a soulful desire. So let us honor their tireless grace, a legacy etched, a sacred space. Black woman, I say Asiatic woman, the backbone, strong and true, building futures, a vibrant hue. Oh my goodness, Islam. Do you know who I should contact? Because I have a lot of issues versus Georgia. I'm not sure what you're asking. If you could inbox me, follow me, inbox me your information, I can reach out to you and put you in contact with someone that can help you. Islam, Noble, Nobel. Yes. So yes, send me your inbox. Inbox me, send me your info, and I will connect you with who you should be able to speak with on that matter. Islam, Islam. So I wanted to read that poem because Just more and more as you watch your sisters and you gaze over this world and you see women standing in the gaps of where no one else is standing. You see, of course, always seeing them ostracized, taken away, whatever's going on. It's always a sister involved. So that's why that poem was just so needed. And I wanted to bring it to this before we started this meeting because it's important for us to be recognized in all ways as this Asiatic woman, as the mothers, as the sisters. Islam, it's just being you. Let's celebrate you. Let's celebrate the woman. Islam. All right, so now I would like to do the recitation for our laws. This is where we clean up house. This puts us in order. It's to guide us and place us in the proper order that we're supposed to be so that we act a certain way. These are why these are acts. Salvation, Allah, unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, color folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder, the Moorish Science Temple of America, home office of Noble Drew Ali, Chicago, Illinois, USA, Islam. Now for the additional laws. Oh, excuse me. Islam. Now for the additional laws. For Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh is the governing head of our temple. All business of said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali before being acted upon by any member. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the member to sacrifice finance, that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under a heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their adept meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able, in finance, to aid me in saving the nation, and if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. As I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while up making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Islam. 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 I would like to rise because I didn't give honors at first, so let me rise and give the highest praises to our Father God Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Also, Allah, the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life that breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Giving honors to both Father and Mother. Islam. I would like to also rise and give high holy honors to all the illustrious prophets for all the divine works that they brought unto us. Islam. Islam. Welcome. Hey, happy Sunday school. Out of your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Yes, it does. So I want to start. The title of this is Here Now and Who is Speaking. But I want to first start off talking about, because was it last Friday? I think it was last Friday. I said something on the live and somebody told me I was being radical and said I was. So I apologize if I was being radical. about anything. But I never mean to be, right? But when we start talking truth, that's not being radical, and that's not speaking anything bad when you're speaking truth. And there was a whole lot of truth behind what I said, because I can go and I can coin in, I can show you where that is a fact. Being the fact I've been in this industry that I've been in for over 30 years, I've seen it turn. I've seen us be pushed out. I've seen all of this take place. So none of it was a lie. All of it was true. So the last 3 chapters in this Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, in one of these chapters of truth, chapter 46, talks about the beginning of Christianity. I'm bringing this one up first because we're going to travel back through so we can come up to this, to where I want to talk about these seeds that are planted. And even camelbacking off of my Friday Holy Day meeting in the Holy Temple of Science, how amazing that meeting was, and how me and my teacher were on the same wavelength. We were on the same energy pretty much. Just his was coming from a different way, but we were pretty much speaking on the same thing. Just beautiful the way he rounded it out, and the way I was able to go back and see, even from that class, how how our minds are really starting to, it's something, this energy that's moving is just beautiful. You don't even have to see your brothers and sisters. You don't even have to be anywhere around them. Y'all could be on that same vibration. It's just beautiful. And it's happening more and more and more. So, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 46, the beginning of Christianity. The foundation of Christianity began in Rome. The Roman nations founded the first church, of whom crucified Jesus of Nazareth for seeking to redeem his people from under the Roman yoke and law. Their Jubilee will be here next year. It's all over the news. CNN, everybody's speaking about it. The Roman Jubilee 2025. Jesus himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa, seeking to redeem his people in those days from the pressure of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Rome crucified him according to their law. Then Europe had peace for a long time, until Mohammed I came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Jesus of Nazareth. The holy teachings of Jesus was to the common people, to redeem them from under the great pressure of the hands of the unjust, that the rulers and the rich would not oppress the poor, as also that the lion and the lamb may lay down together, and neither would be harmed when morning came. These teachings were not accepted by the rulers, neither by the rich, because they loved the principles of the 10 Commandments. Through the 10 Commandments, the rulers and the rich live, while the poor suffer and die. The lamb is the poor people. The lion is the rulers and the rich. And through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny and to worship under their own vine and fig tree, after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers. All nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking peace. But there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, being taught universally to all nations in all lands. The beginning of Christianity, and we are to teach this. These lessons that I'm coming from, we are to teach this universally to all nations in all lands, not just to the ones that you agree with, because that's the problem. Some people just want to take what they can from doctrine and scripture and put what fits them, just like they'll go into our divine constitution and bylaws, not realizing they're supposed to act on those. But most people, maybe they'll just take the ones out that fit their lifestyle. Sometimes taking even out the tools that fit your lifestyle, taking out the lessons that fit your lifestyle, opposed to you studying these lessons and applying them to your life. So even when he talks about the beginning of Christianity, he tells us what we need to do. Because with teaching this, we can help this issue that's going on. The lamb is the poor people, and the lion is the rulers and the rich. And to this day, this is happening. The rich people get to rule the government and never have been in government before. But because their money can buy them in there, their money can put them there. They don't have to have the experience. It's their money that puts them there. It's their dollar that puts them there. Islam. And so I'm going to go to chapter 5, because out of chapter 5, I wanted to talk about chapter 46. Because I wanted to talk about 15 in chapter 5, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet. Chapter 5, after the feast, the homeward journey, the missing Jesus, the search for him. His parents find him in the temple. He goes with them to Nazareth, symbolic meaning of carpenter's tools. So Friday, as I was in class with Brother John, Holy Day meeting. Hi, sister, I love you too. He brought up the compass, right? So in 15, it says, we use the compass to draw the circles around our passions and desires, to keep them in the bounds of righteousness. So when I came from chapter 46, this compass that we need, that helps us in chapter 46. Because we need this compass to do what? What does the compass do? It draws the circles around our passions and desires to keep them in the bounds of righteousness. Right? And so, learning about this compass on Friday was something. Like, I know what a compass does because I've used it in school before. You put it there and it draws a circle. You can make it a big circle. You can make it a small circle. Just depends on how much room you give the compass to move. That will be the size of the circle. Right? Because Brother John was giving this demonstration on Friday. The compass became something else to me. It became, even more important than I thought it was. Way more important. As he started talking about this compass and how we keep ourselves in the bounds of righteousness. And how we use the compass to do such, right? Because we're weak. We're weak. And our soul is where we need to be more in tune with. This is where our seeds need to be planted within our souls, even through our thoughts, like planting these seeds of greatness, of love, of truth, of freedom, planting these seeds, because these seeds are important. So that's why from 5 with the compass, if we go into the beginning of Christianity and talk about that, it gives you how the compass can be used. Especially by taking this all over the world, making that circle big enough to spread this thing to all 4 corners of the world, to spread this message, not this thing, this message to all 4 corners of the world, Islam. And in chapter 12, when we go to chapter 12, we're going to go to chapter 12, 3 to 10. I want to go there. Because the compass became something very serious for me right now. Now I got to go buy me one. I'm going to go purchase me a compass. I have a square. I got a plummet, a hammer, a chisel. I need a compass. I still need to build my toolbox up. I'm still building my toolbox up, right? So in chapter 12, my book be going kind of crazy here because I got to remember where we are. In chapter 12, I want to start reading from 3 to 10. And Jesus spoke to one and said, "Why are you also sad? Have you no happiness?" The man replied, "We scarcely know the meaning of that word. We toil to live and hope for nothing else but toil. And bless the day when we can cease our toil and lay down and rest in Buddha's city of the dead." And Jesus' heart was stirred with pity and with love for these poor toilers. And he said, "Toil should not make a person sad. Men should be happiest when they toil. When hope and love are back of toil, that all of life is filled with joy and peace. And this is heaven. Do you not know that such a place is for you?" The man replied, "Of heaven we have heard, but when it is so far away, and we must live so many lives before we can reach that place." And Jesus said, "My brother man, your thoughts are wrong. Your heaven is not far away, and it's not a place of metes and bounds. It's not a country to be reached. It is a state of mind. Allah never made a heaven for man. He never made a hell. We are creators and we make our own. We're creators and we make our own because we plant these seeds within us to create whatever we're bringing out. Whatever we're bringing out. We are planting these seeds. You're a creator and you create your own. Creators and you make your own. All your own heaven, your own hell, your own. You make everything within yourself. You do. Because if we want to go into our 101s, and in our 101s, the first question is, in our 101s. Quran questions for Moorish Americans. 1, who made you? The answer is Allah. Who is Allah? Allah is the Father of the universe. 3, can we see him? No. 4, where is the nearest place we can meet him? In the heart. The nearest place we can meet him is in the heart. And in that heart, we need to learn to use this compass. So we draw a circle around our passions and desires. So we can stay in alignment with Allah. So then toil doesn't seem so bad for us if we use this compass to circle around our passions and desires. The compass is important. It's a very important tool. Pick it up and try to use it sometime just for the sake, and then start applying it to your life. Start seeing how you can expand that circle or how you can close that circle in. Start keeping things in the bounds to see how you can keep things in the bounds of righteousness with that tool. So the toil that these people were feeling, the toil that he's seen on their faces, they didn't know, because see, maybe if they had this tool and they were able to use this tool, they could understand that even a person toiling should be happiest, because that should be a part of your desires, your toil. But you should be happiest when you do that. So have you found something that you toil for that makes you happy? Because you shouldn't just be toiling. This is why people show up to their jobs and they're not happy with them, because they're toiling, doing things really that bring them no joy in life. It really has not planted a seed within them to help their soul be rejoiceful. So they're not rejoicing when they toil. They're just upset. They're mad. They're frowning. How was your day? It was all right. Just that job. Oh, I got to get up and go to that job. Toiling and not even being happy about the toil. But those are blessings, and these are seeds you have planted. And these are probably things you have asked for. And just because they didn't show up in the way you wanted them to, doesn't mean that the seed didn't harvest. And if it didn't show up in the way you wanted to, and it's all bad, maybe you planted a bad seed. Maybe the seed that you were planting, you weren't cultivating it, you weren't taking care of it, you weren't loving on it. So when you don't take care of the seed, it's not going to unfold correctly. It's not going to unbud into the most beautiful flower because you didn't take the time. We got to toil a lot of times for these things. Islam. Another place where I want to talk about the soul, because the soul is what I'm getting to about these seeds being planted in our souls, and the seeds that we tend to plant in our own souls. Nobody planted them there. We planted them there. So in chapter 3, I'm going to go from 6 to 13. And I'm going to go a little faster because I want to get to this lesson. But I want to kind of just go in and talk about where the soul is, and many other places the soul is talked about in the Holy Quran of the More Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali. So in chapter 3, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, instruction 6 through 13. Well, I'll start at 5. There are two selves, the higher self and the lower self. We always got to use the hammer. So y'all probably hear me say this many times, have probably heard me demonstrate from this chapter. But this is why we have tools, and the hammer has to be used because it needs to be pounded in to us. Pounded in like a nail is pounded into the wall. Pounded in till it's a part of every part of you. So this is why you may hear these lessons repeated a lot, because when you don't get it, you got to use the hammer. This is why we have tools in these divine instructions. So in 5, it says there are two selves, the higher self and the lower self. 6, the higher self is human spirit clothed with soul. Come on, see. Made in the form of Allah. The lower self, the carnal self, the body of desires, is a reflection of the higher self, distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. The lower self is an illusion and will pass away. The higher self is Allah and man and will not pass away. The higher self is the embodiment of truth. The lower self is truth reversed, and so is falsehood manifest. The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. The higher self is the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life. The lower self is rich in promises, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasure, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives unrest, misery, and death. It gives men apples that are lovely to the eye and pleasant to the smell. Their cores are full of bitterness and gall. All through their higher self, lower self. What seeds are you planting? And when you're planting these seeds, are you planting the seeds in your lower self? Or are you planting them in your higher self? Because your higher self is going to unbud into the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life. If you don't cultivate that seed, and if you're not taking care of this seed, even within you, the one that you are planting within your own soul, if you're not taking care of it, it's going to be planted in a lower energy vibration. So through that lower energy, that lower vibration, you're going to get, your seed is going to produce hatred, slander, lewdness, everything that harms. That's what your seed is going to produce. So don't think that these seeds are just because you go out and make children. You plant these seeds within yourself daily because they become a part of you. They become a part of the thought. If the closest place you can meet Allah is in the heart, and that's closer than your jugular vein, then that's telling you got to watch your thoughts, because your thoughts are the seeds that you're planting within yourself. This is why the compass is important. This is why you have to use the compass in order to keep your desires in bounds of righteousness. This is why that compass is so important. Because without tools, without you physically seeing something, it's not like you're going to use it within your mind unless you're just really, you have really trained yourself to do so. So that's why I say maybe going to pick these tools up, going and purchasing these tools. Go purchase a compass so we can start studying how that compass works. You know how a hammer works. Let's see how the compass works. How can we get that? Because we'll sit on that hammer a long time and forget there's other tools that need to be involved here. Islam. All right, so in chapter 2, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 2, the education of Mary and Elizabeth in Zone, Egypt. If you haven't seen the movie about Mary, go watch it. You'll find out that Elizabeth was her auntie. and they were pregnant at the same time. Chapter 2. And I'm going to go to instruction 16 and 21. 16 to 21. 16 to 21. Now, Mary and Elizabeth have been marveled because they're about to, they're giving birth to some amazing sons, long promised sons. And they were ordained to lay a solid rock, a sure foundation stone on which the temple of the perfect man shall rest, a temple that shall never be destroyed, right? So in 16, it says, we call these sons revealers of the light, but they must have the light before they can reveal the light. And you must teach your sons and set their souls on fire with love and holy zeal and make them conscious of their missions to the sons of men. That is a duty for each and every one of us to plant these seeds that we need to plant so that we can teach our sons and set their souls on fire with love and holy zeal and make them conscious of their mission to the sons of men. We all have a mission. We all have a mission because within us, man and Allah are one. So we're all on a mission here. We're all on the same mission. So making you conscious of your mission to the sons of men. Teach that the holy breath, sons of men. Teach them that Allah and man are one, but that through carnal thoughts and words and deeds, man tore himself away from Allah, debased himself. Teach that the holy breath would make them one again, restoring harmony and peace. So, teach them that Allah and man are one. Teach your children this. Teach your children that Allah and man are one. Because see, through carnal thoughts and words and deeds, those are seeds, carnal thoughts, a seed, word coming out your mouth, the deeds, the actions so through the seed you planted, the words you spoke, and the deeds behind it, tore you away from Allah. It debased you. You debased yourself. We've debased ourselves from Allah. Not the cause of no one else. You've debased yourself. So this is why you got to teach. Teach the holy breath. Teach the holy breath. Well, what is the holy breath? What is the holy breath? The holy breath. Let's go in here and we're going to go to our 101 so we can. Isn't the holy breath? Yes. Okay. It's long. So we're going to go to where the holy breath is spoke of in our 101s. And we're going to start at question number 46. 46, chapter 46 is all about telling the truth. Question 46. What did Jesus say that would make you free? Answer, truth. What is truth? Truth is At. What is At? At is Allah. Can truth change? Truth cannot change or pass away. What other name do we give to truth? Holy breath. What have you to say about the holy breath? All we can say is it is great, it is good, it was, it is, and evermore to be. Amen. The holy breath is truth. So we must spread the truth. We must speak the truth. It's not being radical. It's not speaking against anything when you're speaking the truth. And we were brought the truth. We were brought this truth. So this is why we must teach our sons. We must teach ourselves. Even if no one taught you, you could teach yourself. You could definitely plant the seed to teach yourself this. That the holy breath would make you one again, restoring harmony and peace. That not can make them one but love. That Allah so loved the world that he clothed his son in flesh that man can comprehend. He had to clothe someone in flesh so that you can understand. Because without someone being clothed in this flesh, as I am right now, you don't believe it. You don't believe it. And no matter who comes to give you the message, if they're not propped up in a rich man's position or this celebrity status that you want to give everyone, then they don't have the truth for you. It's not the truth. It's a lie. Oh, I don't believe you because you don't look like you telling the truth. But you don't know who holds the truth. Jesus didn't even have a place to lay his head. Jesus wasn't like he was balling or anything like that. Jesus of Nazareth, no. Go look. Wasn't no baller. But he did his duty. He went and did what he was supposed to do. He went and spread the message where it was supposed to go. Because even through the womb, through his mother carrying him, his mission was already being done. And so she was already making the way as she was carrying Jesus in her womb. Islam. So in chapter 1, I want to talk about these seeds and how we call to, and how, that's why I say who's speaking. When you hear this in chapter 1, in chapter I, because this is I. This is I. So some about I is speaking. And I'm going to go down to chapter 1, and I'm going to go down where it says here now. And everything down here is a physical thought. Listen, it's a physical thought being done here. Here now, and it's in quotation, because at the top, let me say this. At the top in quotation, it says, time never was when man was not. Somebody speaking. That's just not being said, so don't just read it. Somebody's speaking all through that. All through here. Somebody's speaking. And I'll start where it says, here now, ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Now, right there, Allah's speaking. The higher essence, the higher self, the embodiment of truth is speaking there. We're about to fall down, and this is where physical thought comes in. And it says, hear now, O protoplasm, and earth, and plant, and beast. I'm going to stop at protoplasm real quick. Proto. Now, this is a Greek word. Prefix is proto. It indicates something that is first or primary, signifying the original or most basic form. Plast comes from the Greek word plastos, which means molded or formed. The protoplasm is when the cell wall is removed completely. That's what protoplasm is, if you didn't know. So it essentially means the primary or original formed part of a cell. Right? So that when we say here now, oh, protoplasm, you call into something. And earth supports life. We're calling out to earth. After protoplasm, we call out to earth because that supports life, right? Atmosphere. I say atom, atmosphere. It protects life on Earth by absorbing harmful solar flares and reducing the temperature. Extremes between night and day, responsible for day and night. Atmosphere. Life. Earth, the only known planet to support life, with a vast diversity of species inhabiting the land, ocean, and atmosphere. You ain't the only one here. Somebody just asked me that. You really think? No. On all planes, on all planets, some form of life is there. You ain't been there to say it hasn't. So you can't say it is or it's not. And what that life form may be. Plants. I went to plant, right? But I'm going to finish as we're talking here now before I even go into these plants and these different things, because they made so much money off of plant life when you think about it. This is how they came up. This is how the economy did what it did. And this is how they was able to live how they lived off the sweat of the backs of our people. Hear now, O protoplasm, and earth, and plant, and beast. Hear now, ye creeping things of earth, ye fish that swim, Ye birds that fly. Go back. Okay. Hear now, ye creeping things of earth. So remember, there's other planets. It said of earth. So when you're asking, that's why it's the prophet was intentional. You just have to read and be paying attention to the words and the commas and the semicolons and the explanation points and the question marks and the quotation marks. You have to study those too. They're not there for no reason for you just to run the sentence on. Like your teacher used to say in English. You're using a run-on sentence. So using a run-on sentence is not stopping where you should. Here, comma. Now, comma, ye spirits of the fire, comma, of water, earth, and air. Here, now, oh, everything that is, or was, or evermore will be. For wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of spirit life. For wisdom speaks out of the highest plane of spirit life. Right? So I wanted to talk about these seeds. I wanted to talk about seeds and plants. Maybe someone to come on that is a plant. Islam, sis, Islam, happy Sunday school. We have herbalists here. Our sister Aisha does flowers and herbs and all kind of things. So I know, she's taking me to the plant show, and when I learned the amount of plants there were, but it ain't got nothing compared to when I found out how many flowering plants there were. There's different type of plants, all kind of different type of plants. But as you started seeing different ones, it gets you to understanding how they took over everything. Flowering plants are angiosperms. These make up majority of plant species, with approximately, this is just what's known, they don't know, 300,000 known species that are characterized by the production of flower and seeds enclosed with fruits. Because altogether there's 300,000 to 450, 390,000 to 450,000 known species of plants. These are just a few. So flowering plants, characterized by the production of flower and seeds enclosed with fruits. You got conifers and other gymnosperms. These are seed-producing plants that do not form flowers. And there are around 1,000 known species included. Pine, firs, and cycads. I think that's what I'm saying. Then you got ferns and alleys. Ferns are non-flowering plants that reproduce via spores. There are about 12,000 known species of ferns. Then you got mosses and bryophytes, which are small non-vascular plants that thrive in most environments. There is around 20,000 known species of mosses. Then you got algae. Algae, while often not considered a plant, is usually separated from plants. Algae is crucial to many ecosystems. There are thousands of species ranging from single-celled phytoplankton to large seaweeds. That's that algae. While discovering of new plant species continues as researchers explore diverse ecosystems around the world, from tropical rainforests to ocean depths. So some of these don't have seeds, but that flowering plant has a seed that it produces. It has a fruit and a flower. These seeds, even when it came to cotton and things like that, these were seeds. They use these. This is how they took. If that many seeds all over the world, that's how they're able to make so much money off of plants and seeds and taking things from us. That's where the cotton came from. The cotton came from a plant. And with that plant, they used that cotton to enslave our people. The cotton helped get our people in a slave mentality where they're working the fields and doing all these things and picking the cotton and prickling their fingers because certain cotton, those cotton things have sticker things on them. Some of them, not all. I just remember certain ones around where we grew up that grew, and you'd be stuck. The stickers stick to you, even as much as you want to grab it, right? Um, but the seeds that they took, and now we have no seeds. They're saying, oh, you got to buy these heirloom seeds. You got to find people with seeds, and so these seeds that they've taken, some of they produce seeds on their own. Maybe they created a seed too. We don't know. But what seeds are you planting? What seeds are you planting? And how are you cultivating? How are you taking care of them? Because some of these plants, you have to take care of them. Some of them, you don't. Some plants can take care of themselves. But then you got plants that you have to take care of. That if you don't, they'll shrivel up. They won't exist. You got one, let's see, the snake plant. These are plants that are good for your house, indoor and low maintenance. You got the snake plant. This plant is almost indestructible. It tolerates low light, irregular watering, and can handle some neglect. But it's great for improving indoor air quality. You see, it got its highs and its lows. It's got a higher self and a lower self. It can handle some neglect, but why would you want to neglect anything? A spider plant is a classic favorite. Spider plant are easy to grow and care for. They do well in direct light and prefer to dry out between waterings. These things got some personalities. The pothos. Pothos is known for its trailing vines and can survive in various light conditions. It's also forgiving if you forget to water it now and then. So there's a plant that's forgiving. These are plants, but they still have an energy to them. The peace lily. Peace lilies do well in low to medium light and can tolerate some neglect. They also help purify the air, making them a great choice for indoor environments. These plants are not easy to care. These plants are not only easy to care for, but also add a touch of greenery and freshness to your home. So, even those plants got feelings. These plants have whole personalities. This is why it's important to cultivate. Cultivate the seeds you're planting within your mind, within your body, within your soul. Cultivate these seeds. You have to take care of them. Some maybe you can neglect some of them, but I promise you, from some of that neglect, you're going to get something from the neglect. You got to understand what's going to come from it. So that's why these seeds that you're planting are important. These seeds, because man, okay, we'll say it like this. So spirit man is a seed of Allah, held within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. Let me go back. But every man, like every other thought of Allah, was but a seed that held within itself the potencies of Allah, just as the seed of any plant of earth hold deep within itself the attributes of every part of that special plant. So spirit man, as seed of Allah, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. Now, seeds are perfect. Yeah, as perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded into life, made manifest. The child is as perfect as the mother is, because the child's a seed. So man, the seed, must be deeply planted in a soil that he might grow, unfold as does the bud unfold to show the flower. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was full ordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth this human seed into the soil, and it grew apace. And man became a living soul, and he became the Lord of all the kingdom of the soul. Hark now, let every creature hear the plane of the soul. is but the ether of the spirit plane, vibrating not so fast. And in the slower rhythm of this plane, the essence of life are manifest. The perfumes and the odors, the true sensations, and all of love manifest. The seed's essence of life is spirit. This seed's essence of life, this is the soul essence, is spirit, the essence of it. So, with this, my soul projected self's outer shell. My soul has projected myself's outer shell. I spoke myself in existence, not from out, but from within. How did I speak myself into existence? From out, not from out, but from within. As I want to travel through and understanding me making who made you, Allah. We're creators and we create our own. Creators and create our own. And in understanding this, being the creator and creating our own, we have to learn how to dig deep into things to find ourselves. So even digging under this rocky soil of our brain to find ourselves. But we got to dig deep. It can't be a scanting digging. You have to take your time and be gentle. Some plants you can't just uproot them because they'll die. Sometimes you have to take your time in pulling them up. That's what I learned from my sister that's a farmer that has a farm. When we would be moving things, she's like the gentleness of pulling them up. Like don't just go in and dig, but just gently get them up off of the ground. You got to take your time. So even taking your time with yourself, even taking time with yourself. So when I talk about this rocky soil, that how we can start tapping into finding our true selves and tapping into this truth that hides within that's within us. It's hidden within us because we haven't brought it out. That's why I say I spoke myself in existence, not from out, but from within. And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow for people when you find out you did it. Nobody did what they did, but you did it to yourself. Because even if you've allowed the people to do it to you and mistreat you, pretty much you did it. You did. You got to take some kind of responsibility, especially as we start to know. And when you don't know, you don't know. But as you know, you throw away them foolish thoughts. You throw away them things that you did that was childish. You know what I'm saying? And then you can really see that speaking yourself in existence, not from out, but from within. And that's why you got to go within to pull anything out. Because sometimes, as it was saying, I honestly, how can I say? I just learned this even about myself, about going within to manifest the outer part. Because I've been projecting just outward, thinking it's going to go in, but it got to come from within in order to manifest on the outside. Islam. So, as I was in chapter 12, and we were talking about the toil of man, and how we toil and how we're mad because we got to toil. Well, even when it's working on yourself, working on your soul's purpose, working on the reason why you're here, you got to toil. That's why you should be happiest when you toil. Because even through learning yourself, even through planting, going back and replanting, some pouring out what you had in the plant pot, taking all that out, planting something new. Well, how do you find it? How do we keep in touch with this? How do we not be so sad? Like Jesus said, they were so sad, and he did not understand why are they so sad. They had no happiness in life, none of that. That's most of the people that we look across now today have no happiness, no matter how you give it to them. You could give them the world, they're not happy. You could take it away, they're just not happy. They have to find this happiness. But where do you find it? You have to seek for heaven within. Because a lot of heaven is, to most people, it's a place they heard of. But they think it's so far away and I got to live many lives to reach it. But you don't. It's not a place of meets and bounds. It's a state of mind. Now cease in chapter 12, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 12. Jesus teaches the common people at a spring, tells them how to obtain eternal happiness. Now seek in 10. Now cease to seek for heaven in the sky. Just open up the windows of the heart, and like a flood of light, a heaven will come and bring a boundless joy. Then the toil will be no cruel task. The people were amazed and gathered close to hear this strange young master speak, imploring him to tell them more about the Father God Allah, about the heaven that men can make on earth, about the boundless joy. And Jesus spake a parable. He said, a certain man possessed a field. The soil was hard and poor. By constant toil, he scarcely could provide food to keep his family from want. One day, a miner who could see beneath the soil, in passing on his way, saw this poor man in his unfruitful field. He called the weary toiler and said, my brother, know you not that just below the surface of your barren field, rich treasures lie concealed? You plow and sow and reap in a scanty way, and day by day you tread upon a mine of gold and precious stones. This wealth lies not upon the surface of the ground, but if you will dig away the rocky soil and delve down deep into the earth, you need no longer till the soil for naught. So we be tilling the soil, the mind. This is what I'm saying. It's in your mind. This miner, the mind, can see beneath the soil. You only see the top of it. So that's why it's hard and poor. And then it's the way it's the way you toil too. You toiling in a scanty way. You trying to rush it like Cain did. Cain and Abel. Abel took his time in bringing forth to Allah the gifts he was gonna bring forth to Allah. He took time with it. He made sure that his herd was clean. They were nice and fattened up. Like you could see that they were being well taken care of. Just like a plant. Some of them plants say you can neglect it a little bit. It may take some neglect. But some of them plants you can't neglect. Some plants you have to give them the love. Just like a baby. You have to give that baby that love. From the time they're in you, when they come into this earth, continue and continue and continue. If a baby is not loved in the proper way and not feeling that love, it'll shrivel away like anyone else, like anything else. So sometimes when these things are happening, even with babies, is there a lot of love on these babies? Or did you just put them to the side and neglect them just a little bit? You neglected them just a little bit. And now that's why they've had to transition. Because some people aren't giving the love that they need to these children. And the babies feel it. They feel it from the womb, y'all. They feel it from the seed. When the seed is planted, they know what you're planting in them. They know what you're giving to them. Don't think just because they're inside, they don't know. They know. So that's why some lives don't get here in the way that they should. Sometimes they got to go back for something else. But you cannot dig in a scanty way. In your mind, you can't dig in a scanty way. In your thoughts, words, and deeds, you can't do this in a scanty way. You can't. The man believed, the miner surely knows, and I will find the treasures hidden in my field. The field of your mind. Come on. And then he dug away the rocky soil, and deep down in the earth, he found a mine of gold. And Jesus said, the sons of men are toiling hard on desert plains and burning sands and rocky soils, are doing what their fathers did, not dreaming they can do aught else. So with that one, you only think you could do as your fathers did. That's just picking cotton. That's just plowing, not getting any benefit from it. You don't think you could do anything else, but you can. That's just where their mind states were. Their mind state wasn't in heaven. You have the opportunity to create your mind, your mind state to be heaven. So you don't have to dig in a scanty way. You don't have to plow and sow and reap in a scanty way. Because under there is a mine of gold and precious stones. Take your time. As I said, Cain was lazy about his stuff. Starts asking me these questions about Adam and how really did he just name things and he did nothing else? Because Cain went and grabbed what he could from the ground and just gave it to Allah. Didn't take no time, didn't care if it was rotten, if the flower was dead, if it was living, if the grapes were rotten, didn't even care if the apple was together, it looked shiny, but he don't know. Just gathering stuff to take. Not even putting thought behind it. But that just shows how you think about yourself. These are the ways you think of self. This is the way you are projecting, because whatever's going on in, you're projecting it out. So this is what you're projecting with your outer shell, this rocky soil. Have no hope, had no hope. But hope backed with love, man, we could do this thing. Toil backed with hope and love is heaven. It's not dictated by the soul, but the Europeans stopped us from thinking. That's why I went to the beginning of Christianity first, because that's who stopped us from thinking for ourselves. That's who started planting these seeds in our souls so that we don't think for ourselves, we don't understand for ourselves, we don't willing for ourselves, and we're not reasoning. Thinking, understanding, reasoning, and willing, those are the actions of the soul, which the Europeans stopped us from thinking. So it's detached us from our souls. Our soul, literally, just by stopping us from thinking. Because we thought, oh yeah, the 10 Commandments is for me. Oh yeah, this is for me. Not going back. Saying, Jesus of Nazareth, my brother, that was of the ancient Canaanites, Hamathites, Amorites, Moabites, all of these things. And when the Europeans stopped us from thinking, Allah constantly brings us a prophet to bring us back to this. He brought someone who could see past the rocky soil. He brought someone even to us that could see past the rocky soil of our own minds. And that was Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder, to start it. Then other prophets came after through the spirit. Spirit don't die. What makes you think the spirit dies? What makes you think that it stopped there? Spirit continues. Spirit continues to live. It has not went anywhere. So even Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder, spirit has not went anywhere. And when it went into Brother Prophet and all the other prophets after, it's the spirit. It ain't got nothing to do with the person. And y'all still tapping into this person, this physicality, this physical person. Because you're the creator and create your own. So you're only creating and calling what you want in your into your being, into your space, into your reality. So all you can do is come off of a person's form. And that's what you're chasing. You're chasing the form of something that's not here anymore. Even when we go and look at our loved ones laying in their tombs in their grave, they're not there. The spirit has to be gone. I feel Prophet Noble Drew Ali spirit left before they could even put them in the box. Islam, because that's how quick spirit moves. Spirit knows how to move. Spirit moves nice too. Islam. So we're creators and create our own. Your higher essence things, if that's love, truth, if that's all of what the higher self breeds, that's what you're doing. If you're just in your lower self and it only breeds all destruction and everything that harms, and those are the seeds you're planting. And you're out of your mind when you disconnect from your soul. You're totally out of your mind when you disconnect from your soul. I just told you the actions of the soul are thinking. So your mind thinks. This is why the miner had to come to show you're going in a scanty way. You're plowing and sowing and reaping in a scanty way. Because you've been disconnected from your soul. You are out of your mind. So what is the soul? What is the soul? What is the soul? The soul is a substance far too fine for fleshly eyes to see. The soul is a substance far too fine for fleshly eyes to see. Hold on, let's go here. Where is my part? Okay, I'm trying to find this part without a photo. We're gonna find that portion. The soul is far too fine for fleshly eyes to see, though it. I don't want to say it wrong. I don't want to quote it in no wrong way at all. So let's see. The soul of man. Let me go to the soul of man. My poor little circumstances is falling apart. I really have to give me another one. Because boy, this one is just. I turn the pages and they're gonna all start following their own way. Yes, they are. Okay. The soul. How about we just talk about this soul? Because what is the soul? It's a substance far too fine for these fleshly eyes to see. The divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 38. Holy instructions from the prophet, the soul of man. The blessing, O man, of thy external part is health, vigor, and proportion. The greatest of these is health. What health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. That thou hast a soul is of all knowledge, the most certain of all truths, the most plain unto thee. Be meek, be grateful for it. Seek not to know it perfectly. It is inscrutable. That means it's impossible to understand or interpret. Thinking, understanding, reasoning, and willing, call these not the soul, they are its actions, but they are not its essence. Raise it not too high that thou be not despised. Be not thou like those unto those who fall by climbing, neither debase it to the sense of brutes. Remember, we debased ourselves. When they stopped us from thinking, we debased ourselves. We debased ourselves. Nor be like to the horse and the mule in whom there is no understanding. Search it by its faculties, know it by its virtues. The soul. There are more in number than the hairs of thy head. The stars of heaven are not to be counted with them. She is immortal. She is unchangeable. She is alike in all. Health calleth her forth to show her loveliness, and application anointed her with the oil of wisdom. You have to apply it. You have to apply this. She is immortal. She is unchangeable. She is alike in all. Health. This is the soul. Health calleth her forth, the soul, to show her loveliness, and application anointed her with the oil of wisdom. Although she shall live after thee, think not she was born before thee. She was created with thy flesh and formed with thy brain. Justice could not give her to thee exalted by virtues, nor mercy delivered her to thee deformed by vices. These must be thine, and thou must answer for them. Right? This is our soul. This is what our soul be doing. This is the soul. Suppose not death can shield thee from examination. Think not corruption can hide thee from inquiry. He who formed thee of thou knowest not what. Can he not raise thee from thou knowest not what again? Yeah, that's a question. Allah can continue to do what he did. This creation can continue. It continues. Spirit don't die. It continues. We stray from our God, our soul father and mother, our spiritual father and mother. We strayed from them. We strayed from them. And we're still suffering from it. Still suffering from being straying away, debasing ourselves, losing our birthrights, losing our vast estate. Because this is where we choose to be. This is where our people choose to be. They choose to stay in the lower rims of everything that harms. So because you're so used to misery, so used to that's what things are, and you run only to misery, that it stays in a low vibration and you can't rise up into your higher self, which the higher self is the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life that breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. That's why I say we strayed from our father and mother. We stray from the spiritual father and mother. We stray from our soul father and mother. We have strayed completely. Because if we didn't, we would be showing up differently with each other and for each other. We're still suffering. Truth is not agitating. That's why I read chapter 46 when I first came on. Because truth is not agitating. That's why someone was saying it was an agitating speech. No, that's not agitating. That's telling the truth. If the truth is there, it's not agitating. Truth is not judgment either. Truth is truth. Truth never changes or passes away, no matter what. So with the as I was talking about this compass, right? Because truth is not agitating. We live love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Truth is one of our principles. So we're not out here telling the truth, and what we doing? We're telling a lie. So truth does not change or pass away. Truth is At. At is Allah. Truth is holy breath. So when you're bringing the truth and you're speaking the truth, that's the holy breath. You're doing the work of your Father. It's not about you. It's never been about you. You're doing the work of the Father. You came here for a specific purpose. Find out what your soul purpose is. Find out what that soul's purpose is. I'm gonna give you a tool where you can find your soul's purpose. Tap into yourself. You might not like what it says, but it'll help you. It's a tool. All these things we have around us are tools, whether they're tarot cards, whether they're pendulums, whether they're whatever they are, whatever you do, they're tools. Our scriptures are tools. That's why there's tools spoken about in the scriptures. Use your tools. Get this compass, because this compass draws circles around our desires to keep them in the bounds of righteousness, right? In addiction, use your compass. Use the compass to draw a circle around your passions and desires. Make that circle smaller. Make craving smaller. Make it smaller and smaller. Because with the compass, you can make a big circle or you can make a tiny circle. The big circle, you're going to have too much stuff that you can put in that circle. Too much going on. That's why they say, the circle's getting smaller. My circle's getting smaller. They using the compass. They telling you right there, even through some of this rap music, they're using the compass because my circle's getting smaller. That's going to help you keep your addictions in the bounds of righteousness. Now, there is healing in everything. There's healing in everything. There's a healing in everything. There's a healing in the tobacco plant. There's a healing in cotton. There's a healing in the marijuana plant. It's a healing in everything. It's the overconsumption of it that causes the addictions where you can't keep yourself in the bounds of righteousness. If we use them tools, because those are tools too, for the betterment, you can find the healing properties in these things. You can find healing properties. You're always looking at the bad because it becomes an addiction. So through these addictions, whether you addicted to women, you addicted to whatever, the bad music, whatever you're addicted to, sugar, your addictions are addictions. It could be sugar, it could be cereal, it could be milk, it could be the most oddest thing that you don't think you have an addiction because it's not considered a drug, quote unquote. But you can still have some form of an addiction. Use the compass. The compass can free us. The compass can free us in so many ways. Use that compass. Make your circle smaller. Even if it's you allowing too many people into your circle, that can be addictive. Trying to help everyone else with their issues and forgetting about yours. That's an addiction. Make your circle smaller. Get your compass and learn how to make a smaller circle so you can keep your desires and all of these things in the bounds of righteousness. It's nobody's fault. You're creating and making your own mess through your thoughts, words, and deeds. You got to watch the seeds you plant in your thoughts. Because as soon as it becomes a thought, it's coming out your mouth. What comes up, come out. You done planted a seed and didn't even take the time to cultivate the seed. Think about the seed being planted. Love on the seed. You just put it there and let it come out. And then when anything flies out your mouth, then you're saying things that you wish you could take back. The compass. Use the compass to help you cultivate. Use these tools to help you do what you need to do. We can free ourselves with these tools. Let's learn to use them properly, though. Use them properly. Like I said, I looked at the compass. Sure did. Looked at the compass a few times. And it took me back was my math class. Like the compass. Okay. But as soon as my teacher broke it down on Friday, I had to remember that compass sure does do that because I haven't used it since the 6th grade. Whoa, that compass does do that. But instead of thinking you got to make your circle bigger, because that might have been what you were getting from the compass in the way it works. Ooh, let me make my circle as big as possible because then, I could get all these things in this circle. No, that ain't the way you do it. It's not the way you do it. No. These tools, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 5, in these tools, symbolic meaning of carpenter's tools. Symbolic meaning of carpenter's tools. You use these tools symbolically, but a lot of times you need to put one in your face to really know it's real. That's why he said he had to clothe. He had to clothe that amazing spirit in flesh. He had to clothe it so it could come. So because you wouldn't have never known it. Symbolically, if it was just symbolically, you ain't listening. But he had to bring some tools. He had to bring a person in flesh so that you could actually see these things for yourself with your eyes. Because as I say, the soul is a substance far too fine for these fleshly eyes to see. So we use the square to measure all of our lines to straighten out the crooked places of the way and make the corners of our conduct square. We use the compass to draw the circles around our passions and desires to keep them in the bounds of righteousness. We use the axe to cut away the knotty, useless, and ungainly parts and make the character symmetrical. We use the hammer to drive home the truth and pound it in until it is a part of every part. We use the plane to smooth the rough, uneven surface of joints and block and board that go to build the temple for the truth. The chisel line, the plummet, and the saw all have their uses in the workshop of the mind. And then this ladder with its trinity of steps, faith, hope, and love. On it we climb up to the dome of purity and life. And on the 12-step ladder, we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build the temple of perfected man. Those are the tools we must use. Each one is important. Each one has its duty. And our duty is to use them for the betterment of ourselves. For the betterment of ourselves. If we go back and we can look at the story of Jesus that was hung on the cross, even they used a hammer to nail in the nails into the cross. If you go back and even look at that, they were using these tools. They were getting him, took his crown off, put that thorn on his head. You know, you look at all these things that was still made in a circle, still took a compass to make that, to destroy him, to take him down, the body. So you think of all these tools that you come across every day. Go through Home Depot and just go look at them. If you just can't even afford one or two, go to the pawn shop and buy you some. Get in touch with these tools. How can you use them in your life? How can you use the square to help you to measure all of your lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way? How? Instead of just reading it, use it. Show us how we're able to apply this to our life. Because many times we get on here and we're just talking and we're just so-called teaching people, but are we really showing them? You know, through instruction, are you showing? Are you really being the message you bring? Come and show us. A lot of these men out here that are carpenters and things like that, show us the proper way to use the tools. So then in turn, we can internally take them in and use them from within. Even though this is an outer surface, we can take them and use them within, because you have to pull everything from within to come out. That's what we must do. I'm going to read y'all something about me that I just found out. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I have found out some really interesting things about myself. But it made sense. Did I necessarily like what was being said? I cried. It's not that it was a bad thing. I cried though. I did cry because it was a revelation. It wasn't even something that just made me sad. It was just a revelation in saying, oh, this is who I am. So there is something called let me see, where are we at? It is something called a gene key. A gene key, and you can find your gene keys. You go online and do the homework on yourself, and they're called gene keys, right? And so it goes off your name, your birthday, where you were born, all of these things to kind of gives you insight on what's going on. So this one is my purpose. And I've said this many times, but this is my first time even coming to this, because I have a sister that uses a lot of tools, but her tools are for the betterment. She's not using them for anything destructive. So, and using it because it's the proper use of the tool, right? So in my first one, it talks about my purpose and what deeply fulfills me. It says, you carry one of the most powerful archetypes of your life's purpose. It is the purpose of love. Because you carry this archetype, you will inevitably be intensely tested throughout the long journey of your life. You will have to understand and accept your own suffering as well as the suffering of others. Your only real agenda in life, if you could call it that, is to retain your sense of innocence and love through all of life's storms. No matter what dramas are on the surface of your life, deep below, within the very essence of your body, lies a hidden power. It is the power of yielding, a state of awareness that you are here to bring to everything you do and everyone you meet. You are a reminder to everyone that the real purpose of existence is love. I speak about that a lot because through my life, just the things that have happened. And with that, the reason why it made me cry, because I was always like, every time I show up for people and do this and they just do me dirty. They just do me dirty, to the point to where my children stop liking people. I'd be like, I want you to meet such and such. Oh no, we ain't meeting nobody. Everybody we meet end up hurting your feelings. That's all they would say. So they weren't keen on meeting nobody. So even after Dad, that's the reason why today too. They weren't trying to meet nobody. Nobody, right? You just always getting your feelings hurt. So yeah, okay. And as they got older, as I speak on, my children hurt my feelings in time. But you know what? I always said I can't change who I am, because people be like, well, stop doing that and just change who you are and just tell people no and do. And as much as I would try to do that, it would not happen. Still end up showing love. Even when they walk away, do me dirty, come back around. I don't know how to hold no kind of grudge against you. I can try, but after a while, it becomes so weak. I can't hold no grudge against somebody. Real talk, I can't. I can't. But what I can do is learn how to yield people from thinking they could just come in and out of my life. That's what I do have to do. I have to yield that. Like, we're going to stop you right. We're going to go on and yield you right here. Because then I allow them to come in and take over and abuse my mental, emotional, financial. I allow them to come in and abuse all that. I allow it. As you heard me say, I allow. Because the only thing that you're allowing is what's happening. If you're not allowing it, it ain't happening. So, through that and then finding that, I said, wow, that's why I can't change. I'm like, hey, I've always been this way. I can't remember a time I haven't. Now, I have my moments. Please believe me, I have my moments. I'm not saying that I'm just perfectly in love all the time. That's not what I'm saying. But in understanding my life's purpose, makes me look at situations differently. Makes me look at people that bounce here or may show up one day in my life and then bounce out, because if you've come into my life, if I've come into your life, honestly, my main purpose for even being in your life was to teach you how to love. That's it. I don't care who it's been. Whether it's Chili from TLC, I can name every celebrity, whoever, because I got hatred felt through a lot of these people that I worked with. On days that maybe they weren't having a good day. But even when I'm not having a good day, if you're my client and I'm showing up, I got to show up with my whatever I'm feeling in that lower self. I can't let it become a part of what I need to do right now in taking care of you, in rendering your service to you. I need to leave it at the door. But now in understanding that, even through all that abuse, through the entertainment world, through the church, through the temple, all the abuse was for a reason. Because I was only brought to teach y'all how to love. And what you do with that after that has nothing to do with me. Now I know that it has nothing to do with me. So if you've crossed my path, if you've been in my life, if I've touched you in any way, that's my purpose. That's my purpose. But now it's the yielding season. So no, I miss you. I miss this. I miss that. No more of that. Okay. Whatever you didn't catch on to, you got to go back and pick up them crumbs that I left you in your life, so you can learn how to love instead of hate. Because that's why I came around you. Even if it was just mere conversations and you thought you was trying to holler, I was just coming to show you that you got to learn to love. Because love don't look for nothing in return. Many times I always did, but in learning not to look for it in return has been the best feeling in the world. Because guess what? It just comes back naturally. I don't have to look for it. It just comes naturally. When you're looking for it because you want to be noticed for it, when you're not looking for that love in return, and you really learn that this is all about reciprocal energy, People show up in your life that really love you. And you don't have to ask them. They ain't got to necessarily do all these things. Their energy and their essence proves that love. It proves that love. That's why I say, who's speaking? Who's really talking? You speaking to yourself. You're speaking. We're each speaking. This is us. We're calling out to these things. We're calling out to plant these seeds within us. That's why learning just to be quiet. I seen KRS-One. Well, he did it first, and then I was talking with my business coach, and she almost said the thing verbatim. That's why I said these energies that are on these same energy fields are something. Like when you say, oh my goodness, I needed clarification, I needed confirmation. These things are coming. These confirmations are here, right? So he says, he was doing an exercise and he was like, say hip hop. People say hip hop. He said, now say it inside, like close your mouth and say it, but say it out loud when you say it inside. Don't use your voice though. He said, 1, 2, 3, say it without opening your mouth. He said, who is that speaking? It's you still speaking. Who you thought it was? It's still you. But sometimes even in that quiet spot, because then my business coach was teaching about taking time when you first get up and just making your mind be quiet, shutting all thought off. Not the easiest thing to do, but shutting it off. Going into the dark to bring forth light. Going into the dark to really bring forth light. So going into a minute where there's no thought, taking the thought off, really using your macabre, right? Macabre. But taking it and just, it's not easy. I've been practicing it for the past 3 days. Not easy because my mind still ends up, I go right back to work. I'm like, no. So I have to go delete, start over. But I'm getting better. I've reached a 2-minute mark so far. After 2 minutes, my mind gets to wander and my thoughts start kicking in, and seeds start being planted. But I need to learn how to blank that thing out for at least 10 minutes. So then I can place in the seeds that I want to plant for the day, and what I want to cultivate for the day, and what I want to harvest for the day. Because when I don't, and I allow all those other thoughts that could have been from yesterday, last year, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever's going on, if I allow them seeds to plant within me, then I'm going to be all over the place. My mind's going to be everywhere, not able to concentrate on what's going on for the day. What is my to-do list for the day? So learning to quiet that mind space, learning to take thought completely out of your mind is not the easiest thing to do, but it's something we should be working toward, because with that, that's how we start tapping into our soul. This is how we're tapping into the soul and tapping into your soul's purpose. Your soul's purpose. What is your purpose for being here? What is your true purpose? It's not just to take up space. It wasn't just to make 15, 30 children. It was, no, you have a soul purpose. A soul's purpose, and it's the work of the Father Allah and the Mother of virtues and the harmonies of life that breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. You didn't come here for yourself. Everyone's so caught up in their own loose desires and their gratification of those desires. Nobody just is like, well, what is my soul's purpose? Let me put all that to the side. How can I help? How can I be more of service to my nation and to my people? Because it takes each and every one of us to do this. So you can't sit on your butt all over the world. Y'all sitting on y'all's butt too much and then wonder why we're going through what we're going through, because you're not standing enough. So much you're quiet. You don't want to say nothing. Why not? Speak the truth. If you believe in God, if Allah is your everything, you believe in Allah, You need to speak the truth because he instructs you to speak the truth. He instructs you to take this to all four corners of the world. No matter how you got to do it, y'all. No matter how you teach these lessons, teach them. If you're a hairstylist, you can teach these lessons. If you're a barber, you can teach these lessons. If you're a cook, you could teach these lessons. A teacher, you could teach these lessons. A mother. It's the way that you form them to teach them. There's science in there. There's math in there. There's history in there. All that you need comes out of this Circle 7. You can run a whole school from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his Father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah. So Allah comes to redeem you, prophets come to redeem you, and this same spirit gets in people that are trying to help redeem you from the same issues, these addictions. Because a lot of our people are so addicted to misery. A lot of our people are so addicted to somebody telling you what to do that you don't even know how to govern yourselves. And God, even in scripture, say, govern thyself accordingly. He never said go look for somebody to be over you. You keep looking for a master. Why? Because you don't know how to govern yourselves. You don't know what is love and what is hate. Because that's how we're going to put it. Not good or bad. What is love and what is hate? You know, Acts 7 in our divine constitution and bylaws, in both, it represents John the Baptist because it's this cleansing rite. And I did a build on cleansing rites. But Acts 7 talks of that Acts 7 represents John the Baptist. Also teaches what a father is and a husband. Just in Acts 7 alone. Acts 7, all members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. John truly was faithful. John truly went and he learned. Remember, he went into the schools and he learned. He was still learning. John the Baptist held to his station. He did what he was supposed to do. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. We're going to stop there because all at the top, as it was giving you instructions, all members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of the all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. John made sure he kept in line with all necessities. John went into the market to get the people so they can prepare them to meet their king. Preparing you, preparation time. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Husband is the first person there that has to take instruction, y'all. If husband ain't taking instruction, wife can't obey the husband because he hasn't even followed his instructions. And the instructions are above him. The necessities of the temple, keeping in line, the uplifting acts, paying your dues, faithful. Husband first, wife next. Because we have to see that this is what's being done. That's why even in the first one, it says, someone just asked me, what's the duty of a grand governor? And so I think someone asked me what was the duty of a sheik. All I can do is go back to Act 1 in the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. That's it. I just had a sister ask me this last night. I said, well, personally, you have duties to uphold these instructions, these divine instructions. That's your duty, to follow these divine instructions. And Act 1, the Grand Sheik, the Grand Sheik is whatever. Islam, but yes. But the Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the prophet. With the assistance of the prophet, spirit. Not because you see him in his form. Spirit must assist you. So if you haven't even went into meditation and tapped into spirit, like I said, quiet your mind. Get rid of them thoughts. Learn to quiet that so we can hear the still small voice that resides in us. Not the one you think that's speaking to you, but the real one that is speaking to you. With the assistance of the prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs. If is always in here because it's a if. The prophet knew these people was going to be iffy. That's why if is in there. If he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And it is known before the members. It has to be known. Not just because you think that's what it is, but it needs to be known. You need to be showing it. It needs to be exemplified in front of people. They should see this. But if you haven't even went for the assistance of the prophet in the spirit realm, I don't know who's assisting you then. Because things are so out of order. How are you being assisted by the prophet with the spirit? The spirit assisting you? Can't be. Allah don't do confusion. He don't do confusion. This is why this is so important in reading these acts and understanding what's in here when it even speaks on the assistance of the prophet. The Grand Sheik is the governing head of our temple. All business of said temple must be approved by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali, before being acted upon by any member. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the member to sacrifice finance. That will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under a heavy restriction, etc., by the prophet or the Grand Sheik. Here we go back with spirit. Spirit. Prophet. He's in the middle of this thing. In the middle. Because then there's no getting above him, no getting around him, below him, through him. He's there in the middle. In the middle. In the middle. So we're making excuses, which we have no excuses no more. No excuses no more. No excuses. I feel everyone holding a position needs to be married. Sheikist, Grand Sheikist, Grand Sheik, Grand Governor. You need to be married, and it needs to be known. Not only to your nation of people, but to the government too, because the prophet left you instructions for that too. So none of us, not even me, calling myself that without being obligated. Everyone should be held to that because we have instructions, and it talks about even being a husband in Acts 7. So if you're not being a husband, how are you holding a station? If you're not being a wife, how are you holding a station? Of saying that you're all these things. And then through your life, if you look at what's going on, are we living these acts? Are we really living these instructions? I know I got some cleaning up to do. That's when I go into the here now. Here now, Latae. Here now, you need to get your life together. Here now, stop doing some of the things that you're doing. Here now. In checking myself, can you check yourself? Can you check yourself? Make your circle smaller. Use your compass. Bound yourself bound all that you be that's going on here. That's going on here. Bound it up. Get you a compass so you can keep it in the bounds of righteousness. So it don't fall into the lower energy. And you're just out here acting lewd and slanderous and nah, don't do that. So y'all's holiday is coming. I hope you guys have an amazing day. We have a lot of things coming up. We're going to close this meeting down, but there are some things we got coming up. Islam. Oh my goodness. One of my favorite people just popped on my live. Rain Simone. Oh my goodness. Y'all. Oh my goodness. I like this young lady. She's out of New York. She is I'm going to call her a lyricist. I don't even want to put her in rap. She's a lyricist. Her word play is amazing. You have to go check her out. She just popped on my live on TikTok. Oh my goodness. All right now. But anyway, that's nice because I'm telling y'all, she gives wordplay so amazingly. And the things that she's speaking on in her music needs to be said. And she's young. So I know she's tapping into the energies of our youth. She's tapping into that heartstring. She's tapping into that soul to where their soul's purpose, just off of her music alone, is she's going to rise up a nation. She's about to raise this nation up with that music. And it's going to be from her generation, which is what we need right now. Because they ain't listening to us, boo. We done got old on them now. But they'll listen to her. They will. You can listen to that whole album. All it is bringing love out. All it is tapping you back into your greatness, which we have so many artists out that are doing that now. But this is a young lady that's only in her 20s that's coming at this thing from such a beautiful place, and it's out of love. And we have to learn how to operate in that way, in so many ways with each other. So pick up your compass, y'all. Pick up your compass. Pick up your compass. Pick up your compass. Islam. Now I'm going to read a couple of words before we close this meeting down from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam, this is an instruction from your Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near. So says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And this is why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. I want to stop right there. This young man I met last cycle at the dealership, he was like 27, and we was just sitting outside talking. He was telling me about his hair. We was having conversation about his hair, and then we were having a spiritual conversation, because when I was led to go to this dealership, that still small voice said, go and find someone with a brown tie on, right? So I go, and I'm looking for someone with a brown tie. I'm just watching as people are walking, and as I'm signing in. Well, everyone has on black shirts, no brown tie. And I'm just, so you know how they coming at you. They're coming for you as soon as you get there. So he's standing at the desk. I look down. He has on brown pants, but it's not a brown tie. Still not specific to what Allah instructed me to do. Like, okay. So I'm just sitting there. Then I just start seeing brown stuff. Brown sweatshirt. I'm like, what? Then this man walks by. He has on a brown trench coat. He has on a beige shirt with a brown tie. But I don't know that he works there. He looks like a customer. And I'm like, oh, man, that's the man with the brown tie. Anyway, so this brown was the color for the day, obviously, because every time I was interacting, they had on some form of brown on them. So this young brother says, so we're outside talking. We're having a very, very high frequency conversation. He says to me, yeah, I've just learned to see with my ears and hear with my eyes. So that's walking by faith and not by sight. And when he said it, I just looked up to him because he had to be like 6'7". Y'all know I ain't nothing but 5 foot. And I just looked up to him and I was just like, I just took a deep breath and I was just like, in my head, I said, all praises due to Allah. I was like, thank you for that. Just thank you for that. Not that I didn't know what he was speaking about, but just thank you for being 27 and saying something like that. I hear with my eyes and see with my ears. I do more of that than anything. So that's saying walking by faith and not by sight. Islam. So back into what the prophet says. Prophet I Noble Drew Ali, and this is why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your profit. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to their very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Temples has an S at the end. So nobody should be out here speaking against no temples. Not even a temple. Can't be speaking about another temple for not doing it. Because if you start speaking against the divine and national principles of your temple, or they're speaking against it, they're against the prophet. I don't care how you mix it up, they're against the prophet. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Now for the divine warning by the prophet Noble Drew Ali, Islam. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work and in their homes or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Comes a time when you need to use your card. So that's why you shouldn't be flashing it just to flash it. Shouldn't be flashing it because the time is coming where we'll need these cards. Islam. Ooh, Islam, Sister V, Islam. So please understand, don't flash them. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. All true Moors will and must, the will of the person, will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their cart and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. What is the Moorish covenant? What is that divine covenant that we should live by? Because holding malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violating the divine covenant of the Moorish movement. What is the divine covenant of the Moorish movement? It's chapter 25. It's chapter 25. You're going to be forced to come together. You're not going to have a choice in it anymore. because the circle's being drawn for you now. Allah said, I'm going to draw the circle. I'm going to put all y'all's desires in the bounds of righteousness. Because most do violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement. Most people do. Most of the people in the movement do. Not a lot of it. There's some of us that don't, because we love each other. But there's a whole lot that's breaking this. They're breaking this and don't even really want to admit it. And they break it up and they act like gangs with each other because they are breaking this holy covenant by even acting the way they act with each other. Act 1, Act 2. That's why the prophet said, do you love me? Yes. Well, act like it then. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, Act 5, Act 6, Act 7. Do you really act like it? The divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 25, the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. Now tell me, you got to remember, I want you to hear this portion before I start reading. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. The divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 25, a holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother hath given you suck. You eat from your mother daily. You eat from Mother Earth every day. She can feed you. Whether it's sunlight, air, all the elements, you can be fed from the earth. Food, the plants, everything. One mother gives you suck. One father provides for by his care, provides for you by his care. Let the bonds of affection, therefore, unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam. So please understand all of these. If the brother is in adversity, assist him. If your sister is in trouble, forsake her not. The movement should be no different than the church. The church don't turn away the drug addicts and the people that ain't doing so well for themselves. And no matter how many times they fall, them church doors stay open for them. Nobody's closing the door on them just because that's what they're going through in their lives. Like I said, what are you addicted to? What are your addictions? Because you probably got something you need to take the compass to. Go assist your brothers and sisters on using the compass then. If you see that they're in these adversities, if you see that, get out there and help them. Stop talking about them. Islam, Sheikhs, peace and love, light, much gratitude. Thank you. I need to hear this message. Have a wonderful day. Islam, Sister Leonette. Gratitude, Sheikhs, and all praises to Allah for allowing you to give us this divine message through the holy breath, setting the tone on the foundation of love to being on the top of the... Islam, sis. Islam. Oh, you're so very welcome. So much gratitude to all of you. I appreciate love each and every one of you for those words. But yes, we have to, this is so important. So as I said, in learning how to use this compass, when you learn how to use the tools, then you can better assist your brother and sister on using these tools to help them in navigating their life and helping them solve these sums that are going on and these problems that go on in our lives. We're never alone. Allah is always with us. It's just we have to pick up the information. We have to study to show ourselves approved. It says study to show yourself approved. It never said let somebody tell you what needs to be said to show yourself approved. Because if you're not in control of that, you're not in control of your soul, your thoughts, or anything. So your mind, body, and soul have been snatched, have been taken. And you don't even have the will from within yourself, the willpower of self to keep going. But you got to understand that's why these things are important. This is why your spiritual connection is important. You could say you don't want to talk religion, but baby, religion is realigning you with the source. And if you can't realign yourself, and that's realigning them chakras to even reach the higher essence of who you are. Because if you're out of balance on the inside, you can't reach that pinnacle. You can't reach the pinnacle of wisdom if everything within you is out of order. So those chakras must be in alignment from the root all the way to the crown. They have to align with each other. So when you're out here acting certain ways, start checking that. Start checking it. All my purpose comes from my sacral. My sacral chakra, that's where it comes from. Solar plexus, sacral, what did I say? Solar plexus, excuse me, solar plexus. Understanding why I be so emotional. But now I'm understanding how to use the tools to not allow myself to get out of bounds or get crazy because somebody does something out of line or crazy to me. Now I'm understanding they're learning to love. And I'm not mad because you had to learn to love this way. So grab your compasses and let's go teach these lessons to the four corners of the world. Islam. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7. And love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Can we all rise as we recite our Moorish American prayer? We turn to the east as going within. We put up 5 fingers on the left, 2 on the right, with our heels touching one another. Standing on our square, repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday school. I should be able to get on with the Holy Temple right now. So I will see y'all on the other side. Peace and love. Thank you for everyone that came in today, that commented, that had something to say. Thank you. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. It was so amazing to see everyone wishing me a happy birthday, even days after my birthday. Thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate it. I had amazing fun. Me and Sister Isha went to brunch and R&B and bingo, which was so fun. So y'all going to be looking for that when it gets a little warmer outside, that we'll do that at the farm. It was so fun. It was just a really great time to be amongst our people and just have fun. You know what I'm saying? So look for that. The Taste of Africa is coming back March 22nd. We should be pushing out a lot of the information starting this cycle. I know that, that day is coming up for a lot of people. I don't celebrate, but for the most part, you guys enjoy your holidays. Not against anyone that does, but enjoy your holidays. But after that, we'll be starting to push a lot of information about the Taste of Africa, because we have to start teaching our people what this connection is all about and why it's important. Why it's important we go back and we trace ourselves back. Because masterminds, we can trace ourselves back. And so we know. Truth never changes or passes away, y'all. Truth never changes or passes away. So man don't die. Man and Allah are one. Islam. So please enjoy your Sundays. Peace and love. Peace and love, TikTok. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday.